Okay, in this class, this session, we discuss about the data types. Theory part is already covered. We discuss about the data types. So we discussed 4 data types. Let's declare the variables like this: integer A. We generally type on separate lines these statements, but for convenience, I'm typing on the same line. Float B, double D say, and then char E, or char C. Okay, so you can declare the variables like this. So if it is integer, you have to write int followed by space followed by a. The general syntax of declaration we will see, but for the time being, because we have already discussed the data type, so whenever you want to declare the variables, you have to specify the data type followed by space followed by the name of the variable. So here A, B, D, C are the variables. A, B, D, C are the variables. So they are the valid identifiers. What is identifier? It should start with a letter, and it may consist of letters and digits. So all these are single letter identifiers. A, B, D, C. What is the data type? What is the data type? What is the size of the data type? Let us see. So we discussed that uh, integer is 2 bytes, character is 1 byte, float is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes. But is it correct? So remember, it varies from compiler to compiler. So let us try to experimentally find the size of each data type. So here what I am trying to do is, I am trying to find the size of the char initially. Okay. So size of is one function. Which determines the size of the parameter that is passed to it. So here we are passing the general name char. Otherwise you can pass C also. So directly we are interested in what is the size of the char data type. So size of char. So definitely the size of char can be 1 byte, 2 bytes or 4 bytes. Whatever it be, it will be an integer. So it will be an integer. So whenever you are printing the integer value, so here what you have to write is within the double quotes, you have to write %d. So whenever you are printing an integer value, then here you have to write within the double quotes %d. But the /n is for going to the new line. That we'll discuss. For the time being, just assume that cursor goes to the next line. Let us see. Let us try to do it, execute it. So build it, compilation finished successfully. Okay, some warnings are there. Warnings bother, because whenever you declare a variable, it has to be used, otherwise there is no meaning in declaring it. Still we have not completed the program. We don't unnecessarily declare the variables actually. But here, for discussion purposes, for learning purposes, we are declaring them and we are not using it at present. Okay, but compilation finished successfully. You have to check whether you got this message or not. Compilation finished successfully, then fine. After that, build execute. What it is? One is printed. You can see here. 1 is printed. That means size of char is 1 byte. So you can add messages also. Size of char is, you can write like this. So any string you can write, any sequence of characters you can write, except that wherever you want to print the value, you have to use percentage followed by appropriate specifier, percentage %d, percentage %c, depending on what you are printing. So for the time being, percentage %d, okay, because we are printing integer. So size of char is percentage %d. So similarly, we try to do it for the other things. Version. Size of float is, we are not printing the float actually, we are printing the size of it. Size of it is again integer. Here, because I am typing directly, you may get some errors. Let us see. So this is how we learn actually. This is how we learn. We commit mistakes. Any skill, learn by committing mistakes only. So recollect yourself, trying to learn walking with the help of your mother, trying to learn the bicycle, maybe trying to learn the motorbike. What happened to you? So you commit to huge number of mistakes, but still you learn, because any skill requires practice. Is it okay? Any problem? Any problem? Let us see. Let us build it. Actually, save it also. Build it. Compilation finished successfully. Okay. Execute. So size of char is 1. Size of int is 4. Size of float is 4. Size of double is 8. Means 8 bytes actually. The value it returns is in terms of bytes. Okay. You can see the size of the values. You cannot directly print the range of values that are stored actually. You cannot print them, but you can verify it. We'll see. But okay, here let me, instead of typing integer, let me check that I can pass this a as a parameter here. So because a is of type integer, let me check again. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Be int only. Okay. So this is the string. Within the double quotes, you can write anything, abracadabra, and you can write anything. Only thing is, depending on what you are printing, whether it is one value or two values, you have to use appropriate format specifier. You have to use appropriate format specifier. Okay, now we have decided. We can check other things. So some certain combinations may not be possible. Some compilers. Let us try to check short int. Int. The short int is 2. Short int is 2. Size of short int is 2. Let us try with the long int. Why price also price is the short int is 2, long int is also only 4 bytes. Int is 4 bytes, long int is also 4 bytes. So there is less meaning in using a long int instead of int. So usually we use long int for computing factorial etc. because we get the large values. But here this compiler is of little use. So in some compilers it will be 8 bytes. It will be 8 bytes. Then it may be advantageous. So like this, you can try with other qualifiers also. Unsigned int, signed int, unsigned int, signed int, both will occupy only 4 bytes. Both will occupy only 4 bytes only, but you can try it out. Many things, you can try it out. Okay. So int is, what is the value? Dot int, okay, 5535, 56. Let us try to assign some value. So a equal to 10. Will it work? Issues? Well, okay, no problem. It is compiling. Let us take say 9878 large value. Let us try once. Compilation also working. Let us increase it. 4 bytes. That let's check and print the value. So here we are experimenting. Okay, value of a is here's a p ration. What is it? Out value compilation. Here you can see wrong value is printed. Actually, compiler itself has to generate error message, but is not generating the error message. Compiler is expected to generate the error message because the value that is stored is header. But why it is not generating? Why compiler is not generating error message? So that means certain things happen during the compilation time, certain things happen during the runtime. So here you are assigning the value. You are assigning some value to A. So this statement will get executed during runtime. Not that it will not be compiled. It will be compiled. It will be converted into object code. But actual assignment of value will take place during the program execution time or runtime. At that time, if the value exceeds, you will get some garbage. we'll get some garbage value. So you should be careful. What is the range of values? What is the range of values? Okay, what is the range of values? Say, let us try 65535. Okay, what happens? Build. Good. Okay, 65535 is printed. Now let us say it is 36. 2 to the power of 32 minus 1 we have to calculate, and then to that value, that will be the maximum value because it is 4 bytes. But note that here we are not mentioning whether it is signed or unsigned. So 65536 is also printed. 5536 is also printed. No issue. So 2 to the power of 32 minus 1 of 32 or by 2. If it is signed representation, by 2. That is the value. Is the value. So you should be careful. You should be careful while assigning the values. So whenever you are getting the garbage, whenever you are getting garbage value, so you have to check whether it is within the range or not, whether it gets stored or not. So you just print the value. You just print the value. If it is you are getting the same value, that means assignment is correct. Otherwise, there is some issue. Otherwise, there is some issue. Okay. So that you can learn by practice. That you can learn by practice. What else we can do? What else we can do? What else we can do? And we have calculated this IS. Right. A equal to equal to some okay 3.3 equal to 3.3. Let us try to assign A equal to B. That means A value, A gets the value of B. Is it correct? Is it correct? Evaluation finish. Value of A is 20. What value you are getting? 20. Here you have assigned A some value, B is 20.3 actually, A equal to B. That is, you are getting only 20. So what is happening? What is happening? The fractional part, that is 0.3, is missing. That means there is some truncation. There is some truncation. So should ensure that you don't assign float, double, etc. to integers. Otherwise, there will be a truncation. So this point you remember, but we will discuss it again and again whenever necessary. So this is regarding the data types. Briefly, we can discuss any number of programs, but I think this is enough. So try experimenting with the size of function. This is actually called as operator. It is a function called as operator. So maybe you use it any. So if we use other compilers, maybe you have to include appropriate header file. appropriate header file. If you have any doubt, if it is not, if you get an error message like the size of is not defined, then in the internet search where the size of is defined, then include that header file. Where size of is defined, identify it in the net and include appropriate header file. So here it is not asking to include any additional header file. So we'll stop here. Okay, thank you.